we're making up for lost time.
They call me Spork, Frankie Spork. I'm a private eye. It was a cold day in the city, the kind of day that makes a man want to hold up in his apartment and stay warm. But I didn't have any groceries left, and my landlord refused to fix the furnace, so I figured I'd come into the office anyway. Unfortunately, the office doesn't have groceries either, and it wasn't much warmer than my apartment. So as I watched the snow pile up outside, beyond the frost forming on the window, I sat in a cold silence. Every once in a while, I used my cigarette lighter to warm up my hands. I couldn't do that too much, of course, because I didn't want to set off the fire alarm. That's a lesson you only have to learn once. Well, okay, maybe I set off more than one fire alarm before. You'd be surprised at how sensitive those things are. The frozen silence in my office was suddenly shattered by the sound of a door opening. Two shadowy figures stood in the doorway. My bank account perked up at the possibility of new clients.
Hello? I heard a voice. Who's in here?
Why is it so dark? Jake, turn on the light.
They flicked the light switch on, flooding the room in the bright white of fluorescent tubes. I got a good look at the pair. They struck me as very familiar, almost as if I had seen them somewhere before.
Frank, what are you doing here?
Are you narrating yourself?
Oh, was I? I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, why are you sitting in the dark in our recording studio?
This is your recording studio? Oh, so it is. I must have gotten mixed up when I walked in the building. I was aiming for my office. I'll get going upstairs.
Well, actually, it's kind of a coincidence you being here today. If you don't mind sticking around for a bit, we can actually use you on the show today.
Use me? What for?
Well, the theme of the show today is private eyes, and since you're a real-life gumshoe, you might be able to give our audience some sort of insight into the shows we play.
Yeah, real-life in-person fact-checker.
You mean those old private detective shows like Philip Marlowe or Sam Spade? Oh, don't make me laugh.
What do you mean?
Oh, come on. Those phonies? Those are some of the most ridiculous portrayals of private detective work out there. All those shows were cooked up by some writer in a cushy Los Angeles office, not actual detectives. You can't trust whatever you hear on the radio, you know.
Well, hey, that's great, This is just the kind of real-life expose stuff that'll be interesting to the listeners. I'll play an episode of Philip Marlowe here, and you can give your take on it.
You okay?
Get this and get it straight. Crime is a sucker's road. And those who travel it wind up in the gutter, the prison, or the grave. This time a peddler of pulp paper love, a blackmailer with muscles, a south of the border chiseler, a simpering prude, and a corpse in a bedroom. All had one thing in common. Each was a woman. It happened like this. The sauce is boiling furiously, which is right now. Add 1 full cup of tomato paste gradually and stir vigorously. Okay. 1 full cup of tomato paste. Oh, no, not now. I'll be a minute. Yeah, I said I'll be... Oh no. Ooh, ow. All right. So add tomato paste, cup and all. Okay, I'm coming. Who is it?
Western Union, telegram for Philip Marlowe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bite you. Kay Vanneman.
Yes, darling, staunch friend Kay. Am I welcome? Me and my small Western Union Joe?
Oh, sure. Come on in. Come on in, honey. We'll go in the kitchen.
Oh, it's not Marlowe playing chef again. What is it this time?
Well, sauce a la Marino. What's on your poor little rich girl's 14-carat mind tonight?
You. It's Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yes. This is meeting night in my crowd. The Greens Committee at the Country Club, the Beverly Hills Male Choir, the veterans of this and that. So, no men left.
Oh, except staunch friend Marlowe, huh? Look, Kay, baby, just because I...
Da-da-da-da-da. I know it by
Huh?
heart, Phil. Just because brave private detective once saved rich Uncle Enoch's niece, Kay, baby, from lots of trouble.
For which he was well paid.
There's no reason why they've got to go on seeing each other. Well, mister, you're wrong. There is a reason, a big fat one. I like you. Lots.
You do?
Especially on Tuesdays.
I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Now,
I'm
look.
not being too bold, am I? I did call, 3 times. You weren't home all day.
That didn't discourage you.
If I can't have you, I'll take the doorstep.
Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays. Now, about this sauce a la whatchamacallit. What do we do first? Fish out the cup or wait for it to melt?
Well, it all depends. If we want to, Hey, that thing sticking out of your pocket, real telegram or prop for gag?
Oh, no prop, real thing.
Oh?
I met the boy in front of your door. Here.
Open it up, will you? My hands are greasy.
So I noticed. Over there, self-reliant. It's called soap and water.
Oh. Well, read it, dear. Straight like, huh?
Okay, straight like. Tried to reach you all day. Very important.
Uh-huh.
Meet at the Tulip Room. Sunset Strip at 8 tonight. We'll pay
Tulip
you
Room.
triple your fee. Time means everything. Gigi Ormsby.
You know her? Give me the towel, will you?
Yeah, I think... Sure, she's the demon editor for Passman House.
Who published what?
Magazines, Torrid Love, Great Passions. You know, the shop girl's encyclopedia.
Uh-huh. Well, now tell me, shop girl, where'd you meet editor Gigi Ormsby?
At a cocktail party about a year ago. She's quite a character. Sleek to look at.
And listen to?
Oh, someplace between a career woman and a Marine sergeant.
Credit good?
Excellent. Uncle Enoch once shook hands with her, and that's better than Dun and Bradstreet. Hey, where are you going?
The Don jacket and professional demeanor. Both are going to the Tulip Room.
Phil, can
but
I-
you're not.
Phil, that's not fair. This is
And the
Tuesday.
sauce a la Marino needs 1 measuring cup removed. That delicate woman's touch from here on in. Bye-bye, Kay. You're a staunch friend indeed. The Tulip Room was one of those extra chic spots, curled up at the foot of the Hollywood Hills, where the velvet and the maitre d's tone of voice made you sure you had egg on your vest. But that plus the crew-cut glamour girls who lined the booths and shrilled darling no matter what was said, made finding my prospective client that much easier. In severely tailored banker's gray flannel, she stood out among the neighboring naked shoulders like a wart on a cue ball, as did her voice, which once it had gone through the introductions, came right to the point.
Marlowe, my problem is simple. I want to find a woman in a hurry. Her name is Henrietta Lawrence. She's a good hack writer who disappeared, I know not why. Health.
Likewise.
Now, here it is. 1, 2, 3. A couple of weeks ago, Henrietta Lawrence showed up in my office from someplace like Seattle or Portland, I forget which, and handed me an outline for a 3-installment serial story that was excellent, according to our standards. 3 days ago, she brought in the first 2 installments, also excellent. But the day before yesterday, when the 3rd installment was due, I was sitting in my office window when this happened. She only got as far as the front door.
What happened?
I don't know. She saw somebody going by slowly in a car. Scared the daylights out of her, and she hobbled for a cab.
Wait a minute. You say hobbled?
Yes, she limps. Uses
Oh.
a cane. Anyway, she piled into this cab and took off. Haven't had a word from her since. I'm worried, Marlowe. She's a nervous thing, the kind who'd go to pieces, little ones fast. So I want you...
Gigi Ormsby, as I live and
Ah.
breathe this stale microwave, darling, how are you?
busy, Jeanette, busy.
So I see. And what's the handsome gentleman's name, or am I supposed to guess?
It's Dracula, darling. We're counting the white throats. Goodbye.
Oh, Gigi, you're priceless.
Goodbye, Jeanette. This is business strictly.
Well, I was only being friendly. Excuse me, darling. Happy business.
Oh, what they let loose after dark. Anyhow, Marlowe, I want you to find this girl. She may be in an awful jam. Now, what do you want to know?
Well, description might help, Gigi.
Okay. Henrietta's about 35 on the drab side. No makeup, no jewelry. Each time I saw her, she was wearing the same thing. A plain brown coat, a plainer brown hat, low heels. All in all, the sex appeal of a tumbleweed.
Last address you had on her?
It's the only one. The Brace Hotel for Women, room 7. It's over on Fountain near La Cienega. But she hasn't checked back there in 2 days either. The giggling flower of the old South desk clerk I talked to on the phone today hasn't the slightest idea where she is. But I figure for you, she might, Marlowe. She's probably got a face like wet hemp. Her name is Clarice.
Well, we'll try it. Where can I reach you, Gigi?
At my home in Brentwood. Sunnyside 9, 1011.
1011?
Yeah, I'll stay next to the phone. Really do your best, will you, Marlowe?
Okay, Gigi. It'll be my best, all right. Don't worry about it. I'll call you.
Good evening. Briggs Hotel. Miss Violet Moore? Oh, one moment, please. Go ahead. Oh, hello. Can I help you?
Are we alone? Is the switchboard closed?
Why, oh, yeah.
Good. You see, I'm a private detective named Marlowe, Clarice.
A private detective. And you know my name.
Oh, we find things out.
Oh, how can poor little old me help you?
Well, it's about Henrietta Lawrence, the girl with the cane.
Mhm.
She's in trouble, and I think it's a man.
So do I.
Who?
Well, I don't know.
You sure?
Positive. She was always so quiet, so mysterious. It was enough to make a body curious.
Oh.
So one night I followed her. She went to Annie Stringer's Hollywood Health Club. That's a ladies' Turkish bath over on Santa Monica Boulevard in Doheny.
Well, maybe she ducked in there because she knew you were following her.
Oh, no, I was very careful. Besides, she had something to say to a woman there. I know. I saw him talking in the doorway when I went by. Couldn't see who it was, though.
No man, huh?
No. But I keep my eyes open when she comes back.
Oh, you do just that. Keep 'em wide open, Clarice. They're lovely eyes.
Oh.
Good night, honey. My client was wrong. Clarice did not have a face like wet hemp. It was more like a batch of biscuits, but the body curious had provided a lead. As far as the corner of Santa Monica and Doheny, and into the white, antiseptic-looking reception room of Annie Stringer's Hollywood Health Club. Women only.
My husband said if I...
There I forgot about Clarice, hemp, and biscuits alike and thought instead about something a whole lot tastier. Like the girl who was leaning on the corner of a desk marked information while she made pencil marks on a chart. She looked up when I closed the door and started toward me. But when another door in the room opened and a woman who was built like a sack of cement bore down on me, she turned back to her chart.
Yes, sir. I help you. I'm Annie Stringer. We don't have a men's section here, if that's what you wanted.
No, it was something else, Miss Stringer.
Annie'll do.
Oh.
Name's my stock in trade. Something else like what?
Henrietta Lawrence. I'm looking for her.
Who are you, mister? What's your name?
Philip Marlowe. I'm a friend of Henrietta's from Portland. They told me over at the Brace Hotel that Henrietta might be at your place. You see, someone had seen her come in here once.
Henrietta Lawrence, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, name doesn't mean anything to me, but...
Honey, Mrs. Gordon wants you to come be for a while.
All right, Hilda, be right there. I don't recall anyone by that name, Mr. Marlowe, but you might check with my receptionist there. Take care of the gentleman, will you, Mona, dear?
Very well, Annie.
I'm coming, Mrs. Gordon.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Marlowe, Mona, dear. Philip Marlowe.
Marlowe. Well, I don't recall any Henrietta Lawrence ever having been with us, but why don't we check the registration cards at my desk and be sure? I might be mistaken.
All right. She's a woman about 35. She wears no makeup and...
Never mind.
Huh?
I know her, amigo.
What?
Just listen. You see, Mr. Marlowe, the cards here list everyone who ever visits the club. Why do you really want Henrietta Lawrence?
Well, I'm a private detective with an interested client.
Who has money, amigo?
It could be. What's your connection here?
Receptionist.
Ah.
And good friend to Annie. Her, confidant, you might say.
All right, say it.
Meet me in the alley behind the hardware store across the street in a half hour. We close then. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Marlowe, but we don't seem to have any listing of a Henrietta Lawrence. But perhaps in the
No,
future...
never mind. Thanks just the same.
Well, you're quite welcome. Don't keep me waiting, amigo.
I killed most of the 30-minute wait at an all-night beanery a block away where I drank bad coffee and listened to a special monologue from a waitress, which was worse. And at exactly 10:30, I stepped into the street and walked to the alley behind the hardware store. Moved cautiously toward the dark shadow of the building until a hand that gripped like a bear trap snapped shut on my upper arm, while another locked my wrist high into my back.
1 inch, Mr. Marlowe, and I'll break it off and hand it to you. I was a lady wrestler, understand?
Oh, do I still call you Annie?
Never mind the wisecracks. It's been a long day, and I haven't got patience. Now, what's your angle, flatfoot?
Slip, baby, in more ways than one. Start talking.
All right. Henrietta came from Seattle, not Portland. So now some advice. Forget Henrietta Lawrence, Shamus. You can't do her any good.
You're a liar, Annie, and you know it.
You're wasting your breath, Shamus.
That's bluff, Annie. Hot air.
Yeah? I suppose that goes for the letter, too, I suppose.
Letter? You slipped again, kid.
What about it? You don't know what letter I'm talking about. But Mr. Marlowe, Henrietta Lawrence does. So tell her to call off the bloodhound, or that letter will go right to the cops. They'll know exactly what to do with it.
Get going, sweetie.
Oh,
Hey.
I'll blow the top of your head off. Go on, feed it while you can still walk. Go.
All right. But I'll be around, Marlowe. So don't forget the message I gave you for Miss Lawrence.
In just a moment, the second act of Philip Marlowe. But first, the kindly physician of River's End, Dr. Christian, will meet the spirit of George Washington in a most unusual way this Wednesday night when Dr. Christian tells his story on most of these same CBS stations. An elderly patient who claims to have a personal message from George Washington comes to Dr. Christian's office and presents him with one of his most perplexing cases. Dr. Christian, starring Gene Hersholt, is a regular Wednesday night feature. Now, with our star, Gerald Moore, we return to the second act of Philip Marlowe and tonight's story, The Ladies' Night.
Kay watched Annie Stringer lumber out of sight down the alley. And she turned, tossed me an I told you so smile, and lit a cigarette for me.
Here. Well, I guess it's a good thing I chucked that scullery maid routine and followed you after all, wasn't it?
Look, I've already said thanks, so go ahead. Get real corny. Rub it in. Marlowe pinned by a woman.
That was no woman, Phil. It was the late gargantuous cousin.
Yeah, I was also outnumbered and surrounded. By the way, where's your gun, Kay?
I don't have any gun, just
What?
a lot of bluff and curiosity about what you were doing out here in the alley with a creature like that.
I was taking a judo lesson.
By correspondence, maybe? What was all that about a letter?
Well, for my money, the way things stack up, Gigi Ormsby's top writer, one Henrietta Lawrence, is being blackmailed by Annie Stringer, and that letter is Annie's protection. Goes to the cops if anything. Kay, get outside quick.
What? What's the matter? Marlowe, not another one.
Yeah, my date, Duck. Will you go on? It's important.
All right, but don't forget you're a sucker for a hammerlock, so watch it. Phil? Senor Marlowe?
Over here, Mona.
Oh, see. You are here. Are we alone?
Yeah, we're alone.
Good. It is worth my life what I'm going to tell you. And we like me alive, no?
Look, what is it, Mona? You know something about Henrietta Lawrence?
See, more than enough. There's a certain letter.
Oh, you know about that, huh?
Sure. I know where it is and what it says.
Bless you, baby. Where is it? I want that letter bad.
It's nice.
Nice?
See. And I would love to give it to you for nothing, but...
But what?
But my poor mother, she needs an operation. My father, the mortgage on the ranch.
Your little sister wants music lessons? Come on, kid. How much?
How much is the life of Henrietta Lawrence worth, Phil, dear? To me, to you, to Henrietta Lawrence.
Her life, huh? I'll see what I can do.
You better do real good, amigo. It's a very serious thing. I take a great risk. Annie Stringer is stupid, but she's also strong like a bull. You come to my apartment, 8310 North Ardmore, number D. 1 hour.
D, huh? Okay, I'll be there.
Good. And please, amigo, you don't hold hard feelings against me. Not for this. You know, business is business. Pleasure's pleasure, no? Maybe we can mix them. In an hour. I'll be waiting for you, Phil.
How do you like that?
It was as touching a little scene as I've ever witnessed.
Skip it, Kay. This deal is liable to get rough before it's over, and I've got a call to make. Let's go.
And I was dumb enough to warn you against the hammerlock. The hammerlock that kid holds is like a pat on the head. Can I go with you just for laughs?
Yeah. We're going to call on my client. You're scramming. Come on.
Hello.
Marlowe, Gigi, got a line on Henrietta, but you're not going to like it much.
What do you mean? How does it go, Marlowe?
Trouble is, she's got blackmail. I don't know what the hook is, but I have word of one of the bargainers is plenty serious.
Who's doing it, Phil?
A female mastodon named Annie Stringer's the big wheel. I got onto it through a letter.
A letter?
Yeah, Annie wrote her a protection letter. It's got all the dirt in it and goes to the cops if anything happens to Annie. It's a standard routine.
Where is this letter? Who has it?
There's a double-crossing little Spanish number named Mona. I'm supposed to meet her again in an hour at her place.
Phil, we must get that letter.
Yeah, it's no cinch, Gigi. Mona's not bright, but she's sly. It's liable to be expensive.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anything I can do to help Henrietta, I want to do now more than ever.
What does that mean?
I've heard from her, Marlowe. She called me just a few minutes ago.
Where was she?
That's the tough part. She was crying. Said it was the end of everything. She tried to tell me about the last installments of the story, then she was interrupted. She gasped out something that sounded like American Airlines ticket office. Then the line went dead. There are 3 of those offices in town.
Yeah. Well, we better check them. Look, can you take the one out in Beverly Hills? I'll get the others.
All right. And Marlowe, where does this Spanish dame live?
North Ardmore, 8310, apartment D.
I'll meet you there in an hour.
When Gigi hung up, I sent Kay to check the airline office in Hollywood for a woman carrying a cane and a big load of trouble, telling her to call me at the downtown agency within half an hour. Then I headed south for the office on 6th Street. Halfway down, it began to rain. You know, the kind of dismal, misty drizzle that makes your clothes smell like blankets at a fire sale. I spent a fruitless half hour peeking into corners and trading descriptions, and finally, when Kay called in a negative report from the Hollywood office, it was high time to beat it out to my appointment with Mona. The rain had put enough dazzling sheen on the pavement to make the going slow and slick. But I got out to 8310 Ardmore not over a minute late. Apartment B was the last on the right and completely dark. As I walked toward it, I found myself following a set of feminine footprints rapidly filling with water. And besides each left print was a little round hole. By the time that registered on me, I was already at the door and could hear her crying inside. I didn't wait to knock. Mona, it's me, Marlowe. For Pete's sake, what happened to you?
Phil, that woman was here waiting for me in the dark. She had a big club. When I came in, she grabbed me and beat me with it.
It was a cane. Not that it makes any difference now. Hey, your apartment's a wreck. She got the letter, huh?
See, she got it, and look. Look at this awful
Later.
bruise.
Right now I want to know what that letter said. You can forget about me paying the Mexican national debt for it. I want it free and fast. Come on, what's Annie got on Henrietta Lawrence?
Right, all right. She knows it.
What?
Somebody's outside there.
Oh, it's Gigi. Come on in, Gigi.
Hello, Phil. Who's this, the tortilla pounder you told me about?
Just a minute, you can't.
All right, hold it. Take it easy.
You're a lousy housekeeper, sister. What happened? Your hat dance get out of control?
Now, wait a minute. Henrietta scooped this Gigi. She was here and got the letter herself.
She what?
Yes. We were just talking about the letter when you came in. Now, let's get on with it, Mona. What's Big Annie's pitch?
Supposing I won't tell you now.
Then I'll have you in the pokey for attempted extortion before you can say Pancho Robinson beautiful. Come on.
Well, okay.
That's better.
For you, amigo, I tell. I don't know what Henrietta Lawrence means to this dragon here, but she's a murderer.
Well, you lying little tamale tosser. That's impossible. Henrietta's a fine girl.
You know what you're saying, Mona?
Sure I do. I read the letter, didn't I? Henrietta Lawrence killed a woman in Seattle 4 years ago. Annie saw her do it. She had names, dates, places, everything.
I can't believe it. I just can't. She's such a swell person. Look, she even left this, the final installment of the story, for me in that Wilshire ticket office. What'll we do, Phil? We gotta help her.
Okay. Since neither she nor Annie counted on Mona here reading the letter, the best way to help her is to try to keep her from committing another murder.
What, are you crazy? What are you talking about?
Come on, Gigi, get with it. The letter was worthless except as Annie Stringer's protection. Yet Henrietta went to all the trouble of getting it. Why? So she could shut Annie up, and there's only one way to do that.
Kill her. Holy mackerel, I didn't even think.
You should, Senora. You got nothing else to work with. Drop dead.
Stop it, both of you.
Oh, crazy.
Better stay clear of it from here on, Gigi. Go home and wait for me.
Okay, Phil, whatever you say. Call me as soon as you can.
Sure. All right, come on, Mona, let's go.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, no, amigo. The letter's gone, and so is Mona's interest. I'm very tired.
Now, listen, you cut yourself in on this right up to your sombrero. You know Annie, so you may be able to help me. It's that or spend the night in the cooler. Add it up, sweetheart. Underlay.
All right. You're so forceful, amigo. Come on, let's go.
Well, Annie's not in her apartment, and she's not around the health club. What's next, Mona? Where else would she be?
Search me, amigo.
Think, will you? Has she had any appointments lately that didn't fit with her regular routine?
Well, she went out on Fountain Avenue in a big hurry a couple of
Fountain
days.
Avenue. That's where Henrietta's been staying, in a hotel out there.
The Brace Hotel?
That's it, on the nose. Is Annie dumb enough to go there now tonight?
Sure. She's stupid. And her strength makes her reckless.
That's it, let's go. Come on, Mona, it's here on the first floor.
Hey there. Now, just alone there. Where do you think you'll...
Oh, it's you again, Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah, it's me again, Clarice.
If you're looking for that Miss Lawrence
Yeah.
in number 7?
Uh-huh.
Well, you're sure in luck, Mr. Marlowe. She's in now. She came back about a half hour ago with a friend, the biggest woman I ever saw.
Annie, it's true, amigo. You were right.
Yeah, come on, let's get back there.
Oh, Mr. Marlowe, you can't go back there. You're a man, and this hotel is for
Now,
women
look,
only.
sis, you got a pass key there, haven't you? Come on, this entire night from start to finish has been for women only. Getting sick and tired of it, present company included. And where's number 7?
Phil, this is it right here.
Henrietta! Unlock it, Clarice, fast. Get back.
Henry. Dead. With a knife.
Yeah. Go ahead and scream, Clarice. Get it over with.
Well, where's Miss Lawrence?
She no doubt left by the window here. Yeah, it's still open. Only 5 feet to the ground and a clear set of footprints in the wet dirt, cane marks and all, just like...
Just like what, Mr. Marlowe?
I started to say like the ones I saw earlier. Sure, the last installment of the story, the letter at Mona's, the airline ticket. Now she's out of it slick as a whistle. Clarice, call the cops. Here, give them my card. I'll get in touch.
Well, where are you going, Mr. Marlowe?
To break the unpleasant news as gently as possible to my client.
Phil, what about me? What will I do now?
Just keep looking at Annie, you beautiful, chiseling, double-crossing jerk. Maybe you'll learn something, but I'm not going to count on it.
Phil.
Gigi had a lot of lights on in a glossy Brentwood house. And as I walked up the wet, curving flagstones to a door, I could see her inside, pacing slowly back and forth. An impatient cigarette in one hand, a stiff brace of brandy in the other. Whatever Gigi Ormsby really thought or felt about Henrietta Lawrence then, I couldn't tell. But I was sure that before I left, she was going to despise her.
Phil, I've been waiting for you to phone me. Something bad, isn't it? I can see it in your face.
We found Annie Stringer's body, Gigi, in Henrietta's hotel room.
Ah, what a dirty, dirty shame. And Henrietta?
Gone. But she won't get far, not this time. The circle gets smaller every time. She can't keep on killing. It's got to stop someplace.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I'm sorry for her, Phil. I hope she got a plane ticket tonight and is miles away by morning. I hope she gets a break this time.
She didn't buy a ticket. She's not even running. And she won't get that break.
You talk as if you know where she is, do you?
Mm-hmm. You've been to Seattle, haven't you, Gigi?
Oh, of course, but not for years.
You lived there. You were a writer before you became a publisher.
Why? What is this?
You knew Annie Stringer long before tonight, too, Gigi, huh?
What are you driving at, Marlowe?
That your real name is Henrietta Lawrence, that you killed a woman in Seattle once, changed your name, and got away, but there was a witness. And a couple of weeks ago, purely by chance, that witness, Annie Stringer, ran into you, recognized you as Henrietta, and grabbed at the chance for blackmail.
Stop it, Marlowe.
So you had to bring Henrietta Lawrence back to life, just long enough to get rid of the witness. But first you had to get a letter she'd written, and also have someone who tell a straight story to the cops. So you hired me, planted the right leads along the way. Get away from that desk! Don't try it, Gigi. You can't win, so at least lose gracefully, will you?
If this was in one of my books, no one would believe it. You're right, I can't win. It's all true, Phil. Where was the loophole?
It started only as a hunch, but everything fit. I got it from the cane you used, Gigi. At Mona's place, the cane marks were on the left side of your tracks. But outside the hotel window, they were on the right. Anybody who really has to use a cane couldn't do that.
Such a little thing.
As a matter of fact, it was.
Look, Marlowe, you're the only person between me and that break. I got more money than I know what to do with. I can bid high, really high. You wouldn't be for sale, would you?
No, baby. Just for hire. Get your coat, Gigi. We're going down to headquarters. Getting the whole business down on police stationery, one orderly step at a time, is a process as full of, well, as full as the fiscal report of the First National Bank. Took twice as long to whip up. But finally it was all over. I was on my way home to my bachelor apartment. And then I remembered something.
Never mind explaining what took you so long, darling. You're here now. Dinner is ready and waiting, and the martinis are ice cold. Just come on in and close the door.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Yesterday Today, the show that brings you the best of yesterday's radio today. We're playing private detective programs today as our in-studio private detective gives us some insight as to the accuracy of the life of a flatfoot.
That's right, our very own detective neighbor, Frankie Spork over here.
Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, some of that radio stuff, it's pretty laughable. Straight corn.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's sensationalism. I'll have you know, the duties of a private detective are very cerebral. They involve a lot of deep thought and observation. We don't just spend all our time getting in gunfights with gangsters or being threatened by big oversized goons telling us not to stick our nose where it don't belong.
I'll get it. Hello? Oh, Frank, it's for you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, all right. Okay, bye.
Who was that?
Yeah, it was just some big oversized goon telling me not to stick my nose where it don't belong. But that's just the exception that proves the rule, guys. Most of this work is very cerebral. It's very calculated stuff.
Right. Well, for the second half of the show, we have an episode of Richard Diamond, Private Eye.
Can I smoke in here?
I don't think so.
Here's Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective.
Is this the Diamond Detective Agency?
Well, what does the sign on the door say?
Yeah, Diamond Detective Agency.
And take a guess.
Are you Mr. Richard Diamond?
It depends. How much does he owe you?
Nothing.
You just want to speak to him?
I do.
You come as a client?
Yes, I do.
You have 100 a day in expenses?
Yeah, I do.
Then I now pronounce us man and client. Your name, please?
My name's Thomas Jason.
The stockbroker? Well, you better pay cash.
Oh, I'm retired now, Mr. Diamond. And to end this nonsense, here's your $100.
Oh, thank you. Now, what's your trouble?
It's Carol, my adopted daughter. We adopted her when she was 12, but my wife died shortly after. Frankly, Carol has been trouble ever since.
And now?
Now, I'm afraid it is no longer a matter of delinquency. Well, there have been several incidents that make me suspect that she's trying to do away with me.
Oh, sweet girl. What's her reason?
My money. In my will, she is my only heir.
Why not change the will?
I said I suspected her, but I'm not certain, Mr. Diamond. And you understand, it would be terrible to disinherit her if I am wrong about my suspicions. I simply must be sure before I change my will.
She have any idea of your suspicion?
Yes. This morning I did speak to her. They mentioned the possibility of cutting her from my will. She flew into a rage, made several terrible threats.
Oh, what do you want me to do?
Well, sir, I want you to...
Oh, excuse me. Diamond Detective Agency, we have the only corpse with the lie-down design.
Oh, Rick. Why don't you answer the phone right?
Okay, Helen, baby. Diamond Detective Agency, Mr. Richard Diamond speaking.
What?
See, it throws you.
Mr. Diamond.
Honey, I'll see you tonight. I got a client.
She?
He.
Good.
Aye. You were saying, Mr. Jason, before I was so nicely interrupted.
Yes, I want you to either prove my fears to be true or groundless. If I am right, I will change my will, of course.
Where do I start?
Come to my house at 3 this afternoon. Here's the address. I'll introduce you to my stepdaughter, Carol, as a business acquaintance. After you've met and talked with her, I'll give you what details I have about her threats and actions.
Okay, Mr. Jason, I'll be at your place at 3 this afternoon.
Good day, Mr. Diamond.
I checked the time and found it to be nearly 12, so I beat it out to grab a bite of food before the noon rush began. Cafes in downtown Manhattan at lunchtime can only be compared to a can of sardines after all their relatives move in. When I had downed my daily bread, I went back to the office, did a little washing, and found myself with still time to kill. So being interested in my new client's problems and always liking a clear view of a new case, I dropped in at the 5th Precinct to see what Lieutenant Levison had on the Jason family. When I walked into the squad room, I found Sergeant Otis tilted back in his chair with his number 14s crossed on the desk in front of him. From the sounds he was making, he was either sleeping or gargling with molasses. Sergeant Otis.
Oh, boy.
Sergeant Otis.
Some down.
Otis, wake up.
What? It's you, Chalmers.
Patrol Leader Diamond with his stout-hearted brownies who were shocked by your dreams. Shame on you.
Hey, how'd you know I was dreaming about a dame?
I peeked. You know, I think I'll tell the lieutenant that you were sleeping on the job.
Well, no, please don't do that, Chalmers. You start me pounding the beat again. Please don't tell him.
Well, maybe I'll let you off the hook, but only if you tell Walt we're pals. That might stop him from giving me the devil about ribbing you.
Pals? You mean friends?
Buddies.
Oh, no, I couldn't stand it.
Hello, Walt.
Okay, so where's the body?
No body. You lost one?
Now, you stop that.
Well, get you. All mad because I can't find a body for you.
Oh, please, Rick. What do you want?
I just wanted any dope you might have on the Thomas Jason family.
Jason?
Yeah, the broker.
Oh, nothing on him, but plenty on his stepdaughter, Carol.
Like what?
Oh, she's a regular. Usually D&D, drunk driving, disturbing the peace. You want to see the file?
Yeah, it might be worth a look. Have my pal, Otis, bring it in.
Sure,
You what? My pal. What did you know? Otis and I are friends.
Is that why he tries to hide under the desk every time he sees you coming?
Call him in. See for yourself.
You think I won't? Otis, get the file on Carol Jason. Bring it in here.
Yeah, Lieutenant.
Now we'll see. Friend, that's a laugh.
It's a laugh yourself. You better be feeling good.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
You'll see.
Yeah, Lieutenant, here's the file.
I'll take it, Otis. Thank you very much.
Sergeant Otis, you have an opportunity to do me a great favor. Please, and without profanity, tell me what you think of Rick.
Oh, he's nice.
What?
You're turning blue, Walt.
I'll turn blue if I want to. What did you do to Otis? Dope him?
You heard him. He thinks I'm nice. We're pals, buddies.
I heard him all right, but I wouldn't believe it on the stack of police manuals. Otis, I'll give you one chance. What's this all about?
The shamus told you, Lieutenant. I think he's a swell egg. A great guy.
Thank you, Otis, my friend.
Always kidding, but a good pal.
Otis, do your feet ache?
My feet? Why, no, Lieutenant.
Well, they will. I'm sending you to a beat.
A beat?
Yes, in Yonkers.
Oh, no!
I went through the file on Carol Jason and found out Walt hadn't been kidding. She'd been picked up for everything from kicking dogs to slugging her boyfriend with a champagne bottle. Real nice girl. I left Walt trying to third-degree the truth out of Otis and headed for what I hoped would be a nice, easy case. In a few minutes, I was in front of my client, Jason's house on East 66th Street. It turned out to be a modest little shack of some 30 rooms with a brownstone cover. I was ushered in to wait in the library for Thomas Jason. But I got a surprise.
Mr. Diamond?
Well, now, I'll bet you're Carol. Your stepfather's told me so much about you.
You're a friend of my stepfather's?
Well, you might say we have things in common. Where is he?
I'm afraid you can't see him, Mr. Diamond. You see, he's become quite ill.
Oh, ill so quickly? I talked to him a few hours ago. He's about as sickly as Paul Bunyan.
Mr. Diamond, will you please leave?
Not until you tell me what happened to Jason, where he is, and why I can't see him.
Get out. Do you hear me? Get out.
Oh, put a cork in it, honey. Your father suspected trouble. Apparently it came quicker than he thought. Me, I want to know all your little secrets.
Just who are you? Policeman?
Private policeman, dear. Your father hired me this morning.
Well, I'm firing you this afternoon. Father's ill, and I will not allow him to be disturbed.
He paid me for a day's work. Tomorrow you can fire me. Is he here?
No. Now, will you get out, or do I call the real police?
No, maybe you'd better, dear. There's a smell around here that isn't a room full of roses.
All right. If it's going to save trouble, I will tell you this much. Father had a serious mental condition. This afternoon, a couple of hours ago, he had an attack. And I was forced to have him taken to a place where he could be treated properly.
With what? Embalming fluid?
Why, you insulting.
Where was he taken? Who's the doctor?
I think I've answered all the questions I need to, Mr. Diamond. My actions are entirely legal. If you persist in your insinuations, I shall see that your license is revoked and that you are charged with defamation of character.
Oh, get you. You've been reading up on the law, and I'll bet I know why. All right, dear. I'll leave now.
Go on and don't come back.
Temper, temper, temper. I'm going, but we'll see each other again. Hello, Pop. Got a minute?
Yeah, reckon so, mister. What's on your mind?
Old questions. Like how long you been out here mowing the lawn?
Most of the day. Why?
Did you, see Mr. Jason leave?
Oh, sure. Left in an ambulance, he did. He was wearing a funny white coat with the arms tied in back. My fashion certainly changed.
You didn't notice any name on the ambulance, did you?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did, mister. Oh, my, it was a silly name. About the silliest I've ever heard of.
Oh, the name, Pop. What was it?
Oh, don't be in such a dang rush. It was Home Sweet Home Rest Home. No, ain't that silly?
I don't think my client agrees with you. If he was taken there for arrest, it may be a permanent one. Next stop, a drugstore with a phone book. Said book gave me the address, and I was soon in Baychester, looking at something pretty swank in the way of nut houses. Home Sweet Home was 2 acres of lawn, trees, and a square white blockhouse, and all surrounded by 15 feet of spiked steel fencing. By this time, the setup was really beginning to smell, and I decided that maybe a shamus might not be welcome. So for a moment, I stood by the big gate debating how I could get in. The answer was fairly simple. I rang the bell. It caused a huge character wearing a white jacket and with arms like hairy telephone poles to appear.
Yeah? What can I do for you, mister?
Let me in.
Why?
This is a rest home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I want to rest.
Oh, funny. Beat it.
I want to speak to the doctor, King Kong. Is he in?
Maybe, maybe not. Who wants him?
I do.
Who are you?
Let's just say I'm a patient. You going to keep me out here dying of schizophrenia?
Dr. Thorne is busy now. Come back later.
Look, in 1 minute I start throwing fits. Think how that'll ruin your trade.
Yeah, the doc wouldn't like that. Maybe you had better come in.
Now, that's right neighborly of you, friend. Wow. Nice place.
For nuts?
Please. I'm a patient, remember?
So, if you're a nut, I should care. If you ain't, why should you?
Now, that's a homely bit of philosophy. Tell me, what do you do here? Break skulls?
I don't think I like you. And I'm a nurse.
What a shock this will be to Dr. Kildare.
I don't know him.
Now, you wouldn't. His nurses are pretty. If he had to have you as a nurse, he'd quit medicine and take up playing the glockenspiel.
Sally, you're nuts. Wait here. I'll get the doctor.
Yes, nurse.
Dr. Thorne, you got a patient, I think.
All right, Brasso. I am Dr. Thorne, sir. What can I do for you?
He's nuts, Doc.
Be quiet, Brasso.
Oh, he's right, Doc. I'm nuttier than a squirrel's hideout.
Well, I'm afraid I can be of no assistance, Mr.
Promise you won't tell?
Did I promise?
I am Sherlock Holmes.
What?
H-O-L.
I can spell. I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place, Mr. Holmes. This is a private sanitarium, and certain procedures must be followed.
I have money I can pay, and I want to stay here.
But, Mr. Holmes, you must be examined by a doctor and committed by a relative.
You're a doctor. Examine me.
But your relative. You can't commit yourself.
Why not? I demand my rights.
Oh, this is preposterous. This is not a hotel. You can't just come in and register. Tell me, who's your doctor? Where is your home?
Well, look. Tell you what. You let me stay here for the day, and I'll tell you who my doctor is. And if you don't let me stay, I'll tell everyone what a bad place you have.
You said something about having money. Just how much money?
I've got a mattress full. Can I stay?
Perhaps it can be arranged. Though, of course, I must examine you.
Of course.
And there will be a certain fee, you understand?
I'm beginning to.
Tell me, Mr.
H-O-L...
Stop! You certainly are most annoying. Tell me, why do you want to stay here anyway?
Well, I've got to stop the plot.
The plot? You know about that?
Sure. You plan to rub out Fearless Fosdick, but I'm not going to let you.
see. Tell me, do you have any dreams?
Well, of course. I have dreams about eating ice cream cones, and oh, what a mess they are.
What's so messy about eating an ice cream cone?
My mouth is always filled with BBs.
BBs?
For my air rifle, stupid. How else could I stand off the Indians?
Well, what Indians?
Well, the Indians who want to steal my ice cream cones.
Now, why would Indians want your ice cream cones?
Oh, they're mad about pistachio.
You are crazy, aren't you? Brazo, take Mr.
H.O.L.
Oh, never mind. Take him to observation room B, Brazo. I don't have time for the examination now.
Wait, can't I be with the other patients? I get lonely.
Later.
Come on, Sherlock. This way.
Well, I was in, thanks to the good doctor not being able to pass up a possible easy buck. The big ape Brazo led me to a small room with bars on the window and a spring lock on the door. When he left, I made like a smart gumshoe and went after the lock with my penknife. Due to my early training in picking locks at the automat, I was out like Alabama. I found myself in a long hall with 7 rooms, 3 on each side and 1 at the end. I knocked on every door. Nothing. Not even Bogart. The last one had to be Jason. Are you in there, Mr. Jason?
Diamond. Oh, I am glad to hear your voice. Please, get me out of here.
Just take it easy. I don't have a key, and this door has a padlock on it.
But you must get me out.
Sure, but give me time. First, tell me what's the score. Why did they lock you up?
Carol had it planned. She has paid Dr. Thorne to keep me here until I go crazy. She wants to have me judged legally insane so she can take the estate.
Yeah, well, maybe I can put a few kinks in her plan.
Wait, Diamond. Where are you going?
There's a phone in the doctor's office. If no one's there, I'll use it to get help.
Yes, but what if you can't get to the phone?
And I go out and get the Marines. If I can get by that ape man, that locked gate. Don't go away.
Oh, there you are, Sherlock.
Oh, don't pick on me. I was only 3.5 years old.
I'm upset with you, Sherlock. You oughtn't to be running around the halls like this.
A guy's got to have his constitutional, Brazo.
Yeah, well, you're through with yours. The doc wants to examine you now.
I've changed my mind. I don't think I like it
I said
here.
the doc wants you. What the doc wants, he gets.
Well, bully for him, but this is one time he won't. I'm leaving.
I don't want to break your arm, Sherlock.
No?
So you don't leave until the doc says so.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint him, but certain things are necessary, like this. Oh.
Now, you shouldn't act like that. I might get mad.
Oh, my knuckles. What is your jaw made of, concrete?
Come on, Sherlock. Or do you want to try again?
No, thanks. One busted hand is enough.
And don't try to run. The gate's locked. And if I have to catch you, I'll fix your legs so you can't run again.
Oh, friendly little butcher, aren't you?
Right in here, Sherlock. The doc is waiting. Here he is, Doc.
Good. You can go back to the office, Brazo. I won't need you. Well, you seem to be well trained as a detective, Mr. Holmes. Do you always pick locks so easily?
I do better with my erector set. But you needn't examine me further. I've changed my mind.
You've changed your... This is odd. First you demand in, now you want out.
I just remembered I forgot to pick up my station wagon.
But the Indians, you want me to help you keep them from stealing your ice cream cones, don't you?
They already got them, and all my money, too. They're both gone.
Your money? And you don't have any money?
Not a bolivar. Now, may I go, Doctor?
You're going to stay right here, Mr. Holmes. There's something peculiar about the way you've recovered from your illusions.
Doc, Miss Jason to see you. She's in your office.
Very well, Brazo. Stay here and guard this man, whoever he is.
Holmes, H.O.L.
Will you shut up? And make sure he stays put this time, Brazo. I have some questions I want to ask him.
He won't go no place, Doc. You go ahead to the office.
Well, Carol, this is a pleasant surprise. Come to visit Jason.
Thorne, our plans will have to be changed.
Changed?
Something has come up that may cause an investigation of stepfather's illness. We can't afford to take a chance of that.
But we can't let Jason go now.
I had no such intentions. He must be taken care of tonight.
Taken care of? But that's impossible. How could
He
I...
must be gotten rid of.
What? Oh, no. No, I didn't bargain for murder.
Look, Thorne, you're in and you stay in. I've paid you $10,000. Don't forget it.
But why all this sudden rush to change our plan? Why can't we
A private detective came to see me this morning. He was hired by stepfather. I knew he had suspicions, but I didn't know they'd gone so far.
A detective?
Oh, he can't act legally, but he's the sort to cause trouble.
Detective, private detective, Sherlock Holmes.
He's rambling about.
I'm afraid we're in serious trouble. Come with me.
What?
Your private detective. I think he's already found Jason. Come on.
You wouldn't like to earn $100, would you, Brazo?
No.
It is you, Diamond.
Uh-oh, fun's over.
Thorne, you fool. How'd you get in here?
He said he was a patient, Carol, and I swear he seemed crazy enough.
He probably said he had money.
You seem to understand each other, honey, but do you mind? I'd like to take Mr. Jason home
For
now.
a couple of extra dollars, you let him walk right in. Oh, Thorne, you're an idiot. I suppose he's found Jason and talked to him.
Well, he did get out of his room and wander about.
Oh, that's great. So now he knows the whole works.
Too bad, baby. Your plan is kaput.
Not quite, Diamond. You've just talked yourself into real trouble. This gun says for you not to get any bright ideas.
My IQ just dropped 30 points.
Shut him up, Brazo.
Sure.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
Oh! Now stay with him while Thorne and I make arrangements. We won't be long.
Do I get the...
Yes, Brazo, when we're ready. Come on, Thorne. I want to talk to stepfather.
Brazo's fist was made of the same stuff as his jaw. By the time I came around, darkness had painted the window, and the room was full of shadow and Brazo. The big hulk was squatting a few feet away, paying no attention to me. So I waited till my mind was clear while I eased off my right shoe. The heel was leather with a steel plate in it. I could only hope it was harder than Brazo's skull. With the shoe in my hand behind me, I was ready. Only to have him catch me stirring.
Coming to, Shamus?
Yeah. Hand me my cigarettes, will you, Brazo?
Need a smoke, Sure. Where are they?
Fell out of my pocket, over there behind you.
Where? I don't see it. Say, that's not...
Need another?
Stop that.
Oh, come on, Buster, fall. Well, is little old Brazo finally getting sleepy? Happy New Year, Buster.
Levinson, homicide.
Walt, Rick, if you don't want me to be a customer of yours, get out to the Home Sweet Home Rest Home fast.
What? Hey, what kind of a gag is this now?
It's no gag, believe me. My client and I are the blue plate specials, and dinner is about to be served.
The Home Sweet... Oh, it still sounds like a gag. Who'd call anything that?
Now, don't argue, Walt. It's no joke.
Okay, Rick, what's the address?
1820 Allerton Avenue, Baychester. And bring a blowtorch to cut an iron gate. You may have to.
All right, I'll be there in 30 minutes.
Quicker if you can.
Stand right there, Diamond. Or I'll use this gun.
Good afternoon. I represent the Sleep
Looks like
Tight
I came just in time. Only now that you've fixed Brazo, you have to dig your own grave.
Dig my own grave? Oh, honey, is this trip really necessary?
Keep moving or I'll kill you right here.
I move.
Keep going. Over there behind those trees where Thorne and Jason are.
Well, is Jason...
He's alive, but not for long.
Where's Brazo? I thought he was going to...
Diamond knocked him out. They can dig their own graves. There, the shovels. Get busy.
Carol, please, you may have the money. I swear...
Shut up and dig.
Carol, this is...
Just work the shovel.
Can you imagine Richard Diamond, private detective, letting a sawed-off female make him dig his own grave? You can't? Well, she did. And for a good half hour. I stalled as long as I could to give Walt Levinson a chance to get there.
That's enough. I said that's deep enough.
Oh, please, I'm just started.
You're finished. Jason, get into that hole with him.
Very well. I guess this is it, Diamond. Sorry to have dragged you in.
Well, that's a horrible way to say it. Don't we get time for a last cigarette?
No. Thorne, take this gun.
What? Oh, no, I'm not going to kill them.
Shut up and take this gun.
Oh, don't do it, Thorne. Be a man about it.
Here, Thorne. Don't be such a weakling. 2 shots and it's over.
No, it was your idea. I'm no murderer.
Atta boy, stick up for your rights.
You shut up. Thorne, do you do the job or do I make you number 3 in that grave?
You wouldn't dare. You need me.
Atta boy, Thorne, tell her.
Go on, Thorne, take the gun.
No, I can't. I just can't. Not like this.
You weakling. I'll do it myself. Now, turn around, Diamond.
Oh, now, look, baby, this thing's getting out of hand. You shoot me and the law will be all over the place.
Not until I've filled that grave in over you.
I called him, baby.
Oh, you're lying.
Am I? Well, just turn around and take a look at that lovely big fat policeman standing over there by that tree.
Oh, you really don't expect me to fall for an old stud like that.
Well, if you don't, you'll fall for something. It's your funeral.
No, it isn't. It's yours.
All right, lady, drop it.
What? Why, you...
smarty.
I'll kill you anyway!
Carol.
Rick, what the devil's going on here? What are you doing down there?
I'm looking at the girl. I think you shot her pretty bad.
Who are these two guys?
The guy with the castanet knees is Doc Thorne. Better put the cuffs on him as an accessory.
But you can't do this. I was the one that refused to shoot you.
Oh, stop licking my hand. You can tell it to the precinct judge.
Otis, snap the cuffs on them and take them out the car.
Sure. Come on, you.
Now, what about this other guy?
The girl's stepfather. How do you feel, Mr. Jason?
Sick, Mr. Diamond. How about the girl, Rick? Shall I call the ambulance?
I don't know. Carol.
Well, Rick?
Take your time, Walt. She's not with us. I gave Walt the story, then took Jason to his house. Stayed there long enough to brush the dirt off my clothes, wash my hands, and then I headed for a delayed date. At 975 Park Avenue, I found a big fireplace and a lovely redhead waiting for me. A redhead wearing a dress that was part green silk and part... well...
Welcome back to Yesterday Today. We're wrapping up our tribute to the private detectives of old-time radio as our own private detective neighbor gives us a reality check.
Can you believe some of the cornball stuff they came up with back in the day to stick in those shows? I tell you, none of that bears any resemblance to my job.
None of the old detective shows have anything in them that you've dealt with at all?
Oh, don't get me wrong. Some of it's realistic, some of it. For example, the long, lonely nights and the relying on cheap liquor as an emotional crutch, but all the goofy action sequences, the rich clients, the beautiful dames around every corner, that's all Hollywood, my friend.
I'll get it. Hello. It's for you again.
Ah, thank you. Hello? Yep, this is Frankie Spork. Yeah? No, you don't say. What's that? Yeah, Rick? You okay? Yeah, all right. Yes, ma'am. Well, fellas, I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got to run.
What for?
I just got a case.
What kind of case?
Well, you got to keep it on the down low, of course. This beautiful woman called me up asking for help.
You could tell she was beautiful over the phone?
I have a knack for judging people's voices. Anyway, she's this rich socialite, and she's looking for help finding something. Don't let this get around, but it's the Maltese sparrow. It's a priceless artifact the stuffed dreams are made of. It's a little statue, you see, a jewel-encrusted statue of a sparrow with a long history. There's a lot of people after it, but nobody knows where it is. There's more thugs, murderers, and thieves trying to get that thing than you can count. Well, anyway, gotta get going. See you in the funny papers.
Well, don't you feel silly finding out the truth about private detectives?
His job sure does sound boring.
Well, it's my job to tell you that if you want more Yesterday Today, you can visit KISU.org or wherever you get your hard-boiled, gritty, noir podcasts.